BlackRock just tokenized almost $3 billion of real-world assets, and the crypto market is now at a record $29 billion in value locked. This is real-world asset tokenization, or RWA, and it's the massive shift that's going to define this bull cycle. But your favorite influencers aren't giving you the real story. They're missing some major connections because they haven't gone deep enough. But today, I'm changing all of that. In this video, we're diving into exactly why RWA is the narrative to watch and how Ripple and XRP are actually leading the charge. Then I'm going to reveal a lesser known project that Ripple backed early on that's positioned to ride this tidal wave. We're talking serious alpha here, the kind that lets you spot opportunities before the normies pile in. I'm not cooking with oil in this video, I'm cooking with gasoline. So if you want to see how all of this really connects to a $1 trillion industry, then hit the like button and let's not waste any time. Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Nothing here is financial advice. Crypto is high risk, always your own research, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. With that said, let's talk RWA. Real-world asset tokenization is transforming how we think about wealth. It's about taking assets like real estate, bonds, or gold and turning them into digital tokens on a blockchain. All of these assets globally are worth over $900 trillion. The tokenization of these means you can buy a piece of a luxury condo for $100 or earn steady profits from digital US bonds, all with instant trades and no middlemen. The numbers tell the story. As of now, RWA's total value locked hit almost $30 billion. Last year, it was just $13 billion, which means it's more than doubled in that time. And there's some other interesting stats here. There's almost 400,000 holders that are in, with over 200 asset issuers and a beastly total stablecoin value of more than $280 billion. I don't even know if we can call this a niche anymore. RWA tokenization is reshaping the market. But why is this happening now? Well, it's all big players that are driving the momentum. BlackRock's BUIDL fund, which is live on multiple chains, is at $2.2 billion and counting. Franklin Templeton is tokenizing funds, and Nasdaq is doing trial runs for stocks. These aren't small experiments. The SEC is literally being asked to rewrite how markets work. With the Fed cutting interest rates, digitized investments that pay 4 to 5% returns are attracting money that banks can't compete with. Projections are putting RWA tokenization at a whopping $16 trillion by 2030, and that's still just a fraction of the global pie of assets. Of course, there's risks like regulation and the technical learning curve, but the momentum is undeniable. There's billions in inflows, and that shows that institutions are fully committed. RWA is the bridge bringing traditional finance to blockchain, and it's wide open for those that are paying attention. So while the giants like BlackRock are setting the price, the real question is, which chains are actually built to capture this growth? That's where Ripple and the XRP ledger come in. The XRPL is built for this exact moment. It settles transactions in 3 seconds for a fraction of a penny. It also has compliance tools that banks love, like KYC checks and token freezes. When it comes to RWA tokenization, the XRPL has over $355 million in value locked, and it's growing steadily. And Ripple's very own stablecoin, RLUSD, has hit nearly $730 million in value. Just think about that setup for a second. And XRP is the fuel. It holds its spot in the top 3 crypto by market cap at well over $180 billion. And there's been very strong institutional buys this year. If you just spend a little bit of time digging, you'll find the connections. Ripple is holding a conference in November, and the speakers are heavier on the institutional side, including the Nasdaq CEO. Check out the speaker lineup for yourself, and you might be as shocked as I was. Institutions are paying attention because the XRPL is solving real-world problems. Fast cross-border trades, low costs, and full audits. With regulations like the Genius Act paving the way, Ripple and XRPL are positioned to capture a significant slice of the RWA market. Here on FireHustle, we always follow the smart money and what they're going into. This is where smart capital is flowing, and XRPL is the backbone. But the real edge comes from knowing which smaller plays are positioned to ride that same wave before the crowd catches on. That's exactly the type of research and early opportunities we share every day inside of the FireHustle VIP Discord. My team and I are in there breaking down macro moves, narrative rotations, and spotting connections you won't find on YouTube. If you're serious about front-running the next big opportunities, then check out the link in the description and join us. But here's where it gets really exciting. Ripple didn't just build the foundation. They invested in a project that's taking RWA to the next level. You just need to know where to look. So here on CryptoRank, you can go to Ripple's page and see all the fundraising rounds that they've invested in. I went to the filters and selected the chain category. And boom, here we have it. The only chain that Ripple has invested in, and it's RWA focused. It's called Epic Chain. Epic was originally focused on NFTs and collectibles like digital art or signed merch, but they saw a bigger prize. Trillions of dollars in real-world assets waiting to be tokenized. Now, Epic is an EVM-compatible sidechain on the XRP ledger. They're combining Ethereum's flexibility with XRPL's speed. It can process 3,000 transactions per second, has 80% lower fees, and has compliance built in from the ground up. Ripple backed them in a $22 million seed round along with Chainlink. Epic's thesis is very simple. Make RWAs accessible and dynamic for everyone. This is going deeper than just spot buying a crypto token. It's bringing a traditional finance feel to crypto. You can stake a tokenized property for yields, lend it in DeFi protocols, or trade it instantly on a DEX. Their XRP Ledger asset program launched last month. It targets $228 trillion in real estate alone, which is a massive chunk of the global market. Epic's market cap is sitting at 60 million. There's no more tokens locked up, so the entire supply of tokens is already circulating. That means there's no inflation that can dilute the price. The market cap hit a high of 78 million a few weeks ago and has been trading in this higher range for a little while now. They've had some big token listings and news that have pushed the price up from 20 million. Epic has something for both everyday users and big institutions through 3 product offerings. First, there's the consumer side with Fanable. It builds on their NFT roots. It's all about bringing physical collectibles on chain. So for example, tokenized sneakers you can flex online or link to real world items. Or fan merch split so that anyone can own a piece of their favorite artist's rare collectibles or merch. Fanable is already pulling in 1.2 million in annual on-chain fees. They built a system for creators and fans where you can stake, earn, or easily trade. For retail investors, this is the big selling point. You can start with a small amount of money, stay actively involved, and earn better returns as more and more people join the platform. It's a cycle where every new person makes Epic's token more valuable for everyone. Now, second is the institutional infrastructure where the real alpha is. Epic is building a system for big players like banks, investment funds, and brokers who want to turn assets like real estate or gold into digital tokens. Think of it like an online platform where brokers list properties or loans. This is where the big money comes in. Epic is working with places like Dubai and Vietnam where rules are starting to allow these digital assets. In my research, I always focus on making connections. And here's another one for you. The XRP Ledger has built-in compliance tools, which means that Epic is already ready for traditional finance. This gives them an edge in their mission to digitize billions in assets, like properties and bonds, and some projects are already running. For Epic token holders, this means you're part of a project that's positioned to grab a piece of the XRPL's trillions in tokenized assets. The third pillar is also something pretty unique, the Epic One card. It's a Visa debit card, the first to reward in XRP. You load it with Epic or other assets, spend in 180 countries, and earn up to 8% back in XRP with no limits. It's live, reservable now, and it makes crypto usable in daily life. You can buy a coffee and earn XRP that you can stake for more yields. For the XRP army, this is huge. It pulls users into the ecosystem, spending and earning, which drives volume and demand for Epic. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Epic. But in this video, I just want to focus on my thesis that's based on all the connections that I've made. So let's bring it all together. The timing is perfect. The RWA market is popping off. The XRPL's RWA value is climbing fast. And Epic is bridging both worlds. The market cap is still relatively small, but the fact that Epic is backed by Ripple is what really made me raise an eyebrow here. The migration to XRPL sidechain was a great move, and the team is delivering with partnerships and programs rolling out. There's always going to be technical and regulatory risks, but Ripple's heavy institutional partnerships and on-chain compliance are tackling those. When you make the right connections early, it gives you the ability to front-run plays like this one. RWA tokenization is the big shift of this cycle that's pulling in trillions from traditional finance into crypto. The big dogs like BlackRock and Franklin Templeton are leading the charge. But we're really still just at the starting line. Ripple and the XRPL are the institutional favorites, with their speed, compliance, and booming RWA growth paving the way. And the cherry on top is Epic Chain. That's the hidden gem that Ripple backed early. It's EVM compatible, institution ready, and already delivering utility with Fanable, broker tools, and the Epic One card. I opened a can of worms, but ended up connecting some big dots. If you found this breakdown valuable, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so that you don't miss my daily updates. And if you want to go deeper with me and my team, then come and join us in the FireHustle VIP Discord, where we share real-time alpha, strategies, and macro analysis that doesn't make it to YouTube or X. The link is in the description. And remember, this isn't financial advice. Never risk more than you can afford to lose, and always keep your eye out for the next big narrative. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.